Look, most people think they're ahead because they own a few shares of something. They're not. Here's what nobody tells you. 62% of Americans own stocks. Sounds impressive, right? Like everyone's building wealth together. But dig one layer deeper and you'll see the truth. Most of them are doing it wrong. Panicking, selling, restarting, bleeding time. And time, that's the only thing you can't buy back. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you're in your 20s and you're already investing, even just $100 or $200 a month, you're not just ahead. You're in a different game entirely. Most people won't realize what you're doing until they're 45, staring at their bank account, wishing they'd started decades ago. This isn't about being rich tomorrow. It's about understanding something most people will never get. $1 today isn't worth $1. It's worth $20 in 30 years. And once you see money that way, everything changes. So let's talk about why starting early is the most unfair advantage you'll ever have, and why most people, even the ones who think they're investing, are already losing. Here's a stat that sounds good on paper. 62% of US adults have money in the stock market. Individual stocks, mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs, doesn't matter. More than half of adults are in the game. First time you hear that, it feels encouraging. Like, oh, most people are doing this. I'm not behind. But here's the problem with that number. It hasn't moved in decades. Same percentage, same people, same mistakes on repeat. Because owning stock doesn't mean you're building wealth. Far from it. Most people aren't investing enough, they're not consistent, and they're definitely not thinking long term. They're treating the stock market like a slot machine. Put money in, get nervous, pull it out, repeat. That's not investing. That's gambling with a brokerage account. Now let's zoom in on where the real story is. Young people. Because this is where things get wild. About 44% of Americans aged 18 to 29 already own stocks. Nearly half. That's historic. A decade ago, nowhere close. Younger generations are catching on faster than their parents ever did. Some people are even calling Gen Z the most financially savvy generation yet. And you know what? They might be right. But here's the other side of that coin. More than half of young Americans still aren't in the market. And look, I get it. Most 22-year-olds don't have piles of cash lying around to invest for decades. Rent's expensive, student loans exist, life is expensive. But the ones who are making it work, even if it's just $50 or $100 a month, they're setting themselves up for something most people will never experience. So why are more young people investing now than ever before? Simple. They're looking around at the world they're inheriting, and it's terrifying. Homes that used to cost $150,000 now cost $500,000. Cars that were $20,000 are now $60,000. Raising a family? Don't even get me started on the math there. Young people see this, and instead of pretending it's fine, they're taking action. They're saying, if I want to afford the house I want, drive the car I want, raise a family without drowning in stress, I need to start now. And that's smart, because they figured out something most people learn way too late. Time is the advantage. $1 invested in your 20s isn't just $1. At an average 8% annual return, that dollar becomes more than $20 by retirement, without you doing anything else. Think about that for a second. $100 today quietly becomes $2,000. Not because you're a genius, not because you picked the perfect stock, just because you gave it time. So when you skip that $5 coffee, you're not just saving $5. You're buying yourself $100 in the future. And once you start seeing money this way, everything shifts. That $1,000 car payment every month, that's not $1,000. That's $20,000 your future self could have had. That $50 dinner, that's $1,000 down the road. I'm not saying don't enjoy your life. I'm saying understand the trade, because smart people pause before spending and ask, how many hours of my life did this cost me? If you make $25 an hour, a $1,000 expense isn't $1,000. It's 40 hours, a full week of your life, before taxes. When you frame it that way, suddenly you're not just spending money, you're spending time. And time is the one thing you can never earn back. Here's what starting early really says about you. It's not just about the money, it's about the mentality. People who invest young show 4 things most people don't have. Discipline. The ability to consistently set money aside instead of spending every dollar that hits your account. Patience. The willingness to let your investments grow through market ups and downs without losing your mind every time things dip. Long-term vision. You're not thinking about next weekend. You're thinking about where you'll be in 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Delayed gratification. Making small sacrifices today in exchange for massive rewards later. These aren't just helpful habits. They're the foundation of wealth. But here's the thing. These traits are rare, especially early in life. Most people don't start thinking long-term until they're in their 40s. And by then, they've already lost the greatest advantage anyone can have: time. Look, most young investors aren't dumping thousands into the market every month. They're starting small, $50 here, $100 there. But that's not the point. The point is the mindset. It signals awareness. It shows they understand what's coming and they're preparing for it before life gets more complicated. Compared to their peers, that mindset alone puts them miles ahead. And here's where it gets really interesting. More young people are investing than ever, but that hasn't translated into big wealth yet. The median net worth for Americans under 35? Just $39,000. And that's household net worth, not individual. Meaning half of young adults are below that number. If you're consistently investing, even small amounts, you're already setting yourself up to blow past that figure while everyone else is still trying to catch up. Here's what most people don't understand about net worth. It doesn't grow in a straight line. It snowballs. Two people sitting at $39,000 today could be in completely different financial worlds 5 or 10 years from now. Same starting point, wildly different outcomes. Why? Because at first, your contributions are everything. You put in $200 a month, your account grows by roughly $200 a month. Simple math. But over time, and this is where it gets magical, your investments start earning more than you're adding. That's when the snowball effect kicks in. Your money starts working harder than you do. And that's why people who start early often end up in a completely different financial reality than those who wait. Let me give you a real example. Investor A starts at 25, invests $200 per month until 65, earns 8% annually. Investor B waits until 35, invests the same $200 per month until 65. Same 8% return. By retirement, Investor A has about $698,000. Investor B, only $298,000. Same monthly contribution, same rate of return. But Investor A started just 10 years earlier and ended up with more than double. That's not luck, that's time doing the heavy lifting. And here's the gut punch. The biggest financial regret people have later in life isn't that they didn't invest enough, it's that they didn't start sooner. They look back at the car they bought that lost half its value in a year, the gadgets that became obsolete in months, the furniture that gathered dust. All that money could have been quietly working in the background. Wealth isn't lost by missing a huge windfall. It's lost by wasting time, and you can't get that back. Now, savvy investors know something most people miss. The money you invest isn't just sitting there for some far-off retirement. It's working for you now. Every dollar invested adds flexibility, freedom, options. For example, a healthy investment account makes it easier to take a career leap. Maybe you want to leave a job that drains you. Maybe you want to start a side business without risking your entire livelihood. You can do that when you have a cushion. It also opens the door to retiring earlier than 65. Not because you're rich, but because you started building the foundation decades ago. And on top of that, having a solid financial cushion dramatically reduces stress. It gives you peace of mind that non-investors simply don't understand. Investing early doesn't just build wealth over time. It buys you choices and security today.
Now let's talk about people in their 30s and 40s. Stock ownership climbs here. About 65% of Americans between 30 and 49 own stocks. But don't mistake that for being set. A lot of these people cash out early. They get impatient. They panic during a dip and sell. Then they start over. They hit the reset button on compounding every few years. And every time they do that, they're bleeding time. Here's the truth most people miss. Yes, 62% of adults own stocks, but 38% don't. And among those who do invest, many are making massive mistakes, panicking during market dips, cashing out to buy stuff, investing poorly. If you're investing regularly, even modestly, you're already ahead. And your advantage isn't just measured in dollars. It's in habits, mindset, long-term vision. You're building options most people won't have. And that advantage compounds year after year, choice after choice. So here's the takeaway. Record numbers of young people are investing, not because they want to, but because they have to. They see the cost of everything rising and they're refusing to fall behind. The ones who stay consistent, the ones who avoid panic selling and let compounding work quietly in the background, they're positioning themselves for lifelong financial freedom. You don't need thousands to start. You don't need to pick the perfect stock. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to start, and you need to stay. Because the real game isn't about how much you have today, it's about how early you started and how long you stayed in. Most people will figure this out in their 40s. By then, they'll have lost the one advantage they can never get back. But you, if you're watching this and you're already investing, even small amounts, you're not just ahead, you're playing a different game entirely. And that's the unfair advantage. If this shifted how you see money, drop a comment and let me know. What's one purchase you made that you wish you'd invested instead? Let's talk about it. And if you're not investing yet, but this made you think differently, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the earlier someone starts, the bigger the difference it makes. Time is the cheat code. Use it. See you in the next one.